Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with NFMLA magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm glad to be joined with Nick with his movie King Ed. Let's take another clip.
What if I never meet someone?
What if?
Then I live an unhappy life. Not watching old movies with somebody in their awesome backyard.
Or maybe you find time to ask what else is here when you stop looking for someone else all the time.
Nick, firstly, thank you for being here. Thank you for
Thank
bringing
you for
your
having
film.
me.
And welcome to NewFilmmakers LA family. We'll never let you go. No, that's it.
Okay.
No, seriously, thank you for bringing King Ed to us. I've got so many questions. I really did enjoy it. For those that haven't seen it, how do you describe your film?
It's a comedy about someone that thinks that the reason they're dating their boyfriend is that their boyfriend is their soulmate because they made the perfect playlist for them. And then they find out that that ex-boyfriend didn't make the playlist. So they go searching for the person that did. And I don't want to say who did make it because do you want spoilers in this?
Yeah,
or?
no, you want to watch it, right?
Right.
If you haven't seen it, you want to watch it. No, honestly, I really love this story. Like, I think the whole idea about searching for a soulmate is something that we all have thought about in our lives. If not, we found them or not found them. And just the fact it was around a playlist was just even more enchanting because I love my playlists, and if someone makes me a great playlist, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
So I get it. I was like, yeah, of course your soulmate. I get it.
I'm not particularly musical, but I always feel like music makes a really quick shorthand for a connection with somebody else.
Yeah.
If I ever have a crush on someone, I always end up making them a mixtape.
Oh, you do? Okay.
It's super antiquated. And
so you're a soulmate to many then, basically. No, I love that.
That's a problem of mine.
That sounds very sweet, honestly. But no, really, really unique story. Where did this inspiration come around for you?
It was a strike. It was the WGA strike. And I was going through some old journals of mine, actually. I don't keep a journal anymore, but I did from when I was like third grade to like 5 years ago. And there was an old entry when I worked at this single screen movie theater in Seattle, University of Washington, and there's this coworker that was telling me this story about he was on a date and he hated the date, and the person on the date hated him too, but in the background he was hearing like his favorite song, his next favorite song, his next favorite song, and they kind of like ended the date, but later he just kept thinking about the songs. And so he called up the guy and he's like, I didn't really have a good time on the date. And the guy's like, yeah, fuck you, I didn't like it either. And he's like, who made that playlist? And he like went from like gay guy to gay guy to gay guy. I was like a new gay person at the time. So this was very like, this is how I thought gay life was. We're all texting each other and MySpacing each other.
I love it.
Which wasn't that far from the truth. So then he got to like his ex, and he was like, oh, did I break up with him too soon? Should I have given him another chance? And the ex was like, no, Dominic, you made the playlist. You gave that to me. And so there was a story about a guy, and I feel like I just gave away the movie now, but he sort of realized like, oh shit, I'm my own soulmate. I was in writing class, and I hadn't decided if it was interesting or not, what it meant to be your own soulmate. And then after a bunch of therapy, growing up, and my own gay relationships, I think then I sort of realized like what this was about. And it sort of got layered onto a story about romance chasing, which is something that I feel like happens to everyone, sort of the pageantry of romance. But I think that gay men specifically experience in a different way, that there's a sort of like cure for what's going on inside you that's in a different person.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's just so many gay men I know that are following that pattern.
Yeah.
And so they end up breaking up with the person that they'll like so much after the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
And I was doing that too. And so that is what came out on the page when I wrote it.
I love this. My goodness, I feel like we're having a gay men's therapy podcast right now. I love that because I can relate to that. I relate to that. That's very interesting, and I think it's it's an interesting kind of psychology behind that. So yeah, that's really true. I love that King Ed, you know, developed out of this, but I also really love your imagination. You got these really fantastic kind of, you know, nuances and ideas, and, you know, kind of scenarios also had this kind of magical effect to it. And so how did you know, with taking this story, which kind of feels like based on true story, and then taking it into the context of how you wanted it to look and feel, how did you go about pulling it together in terms about how you wanted the movie to feel?
There was a brief period of a time when the script had like Oedipus in it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is why it's called King Ed originally, because Oedipus Rex is.
Yeah.
And so I was very interested. I mean, look, in reality, any story about, obviously when you think about Oedipus, you think of him sleeping with his mom.
Yeah.
Too distracting for this script, okay? So I cut most of that stuff. But I did like the idea of someone solving the mystery, you know, about a crime that they committed.
Yeah.
So it starts with him visiting the Oracle. And, you know, in Oedipus, he hears what happened through Tiresias, the blind prophet. So a lot of what happens in that first scene is, you know, him experiencing, it's almost like a dream-like experience for him, but it's also his own realizations of what's happening. I was also sort of trying to visualize, you know, dramatize my experiences with therapy, where therapy sucks, but it's really productive. It's not like you just learn what you did wrong and then you're like, oh, well, thank you so much, I'll stop doing that. It's like they tell you what you're doing wrong, and then you go off and do the wrong thing again, but now you sort of hear their voice in your head like a ghost, and it sort of strips away your, you know, the defense mechanisms that you're doing. So she comes in and she's like telling him, this is not what you think. You're looking for, this is the man you've been looking for a while. Yeah. And it's not the one you're dating right now. Yeah. So that sort of sneaking into his skull is visualized, hopefully.
Yeah,
you know, some of the, like, he enters the therapy room and it's just like a big void. We're kind of in his skull.
Yeah, no, and you really showed that, and I loved even just kind of the, you know, the characters that supported him in sort of understanding his own particular journey and what he was going on. I love your cast. They must have had fun playing these roles. Like, how did you go about bringing your cast together? Because they, you know, they all had very specific characteristics that was, you know, very intriguing.
Yeah, that was a lot to balance, because I think that Ed is I think in the script I talk about him as sort of a gay Tracy Flick. Yeah. Which was hard to cast. Brendan was really just far and away, so immediately the best person. It's really the only time I've ever written anything where, you know, writers will always have that story where they like meet their character. Yeah. He was so instantly the character. His acting method is also just so real. He's like this super accomplished, super method actor. So like on the first scene where we started with the scene where I'm in the kitchen, Joseph's in the kitchen, and he comes in mad at me that I've lied to him. And I kept leaving the scene going like, oh my God, Brendan Scannell's so mad at me, because it just felt so real. And then we immediately went to go do like the scene where I'm in bed with him and he confesses that he's in love with Joseph. And then that all became super real. And I was like, am I in love with Brendan Scannell? I was just reacting to everything that happened. And I definitely got a little swept away in my scenes, because he was just very much there and present emotionally, that I didn't have to do anything, if that makes sense.
And how did it feel being on both sides as well? Like, I mean, how
of the camera?
Yeah. Like, especially in this piece, because you're a writer, you're directing. And
yeah, I was definitely a bit, it was a lot to take on at once. I was lucky that I had a really great associate director from my sitcom days, Gwen Victor's, unbelievably fantastic. She would like tell me like, this is what you're seeing. I guess when and because I was directing for the first time, I hadn't visualized how important it is to see, obviously, and this is so basic for everyone else, but like to see what we're seeing on the camera. I was thinking more about, you know, my sitcom days, where it's basically a big radio play. So it's like, and that was a huge difference too. So like when I'm visualizing in my head writing a sitcom, I'm just thinking of like almost like theater. It is theater.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I'm filming a movie, then I'm thinking right here. And it becomes so much more emotional because I'm now experiencing what I'm doing, you know, and I am in control of the visuals as well. In a way that you just can't really click into until you do your first one.
Yeah.
You don't really click into it as a viewer. You don't understand how much directors are controlling what you're feeling by like what you're focusing on or like everything you're seeing. And it's so powerful, but it's also super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a wonderful kind of experience for you to kind of, you know, be in these different lenses and kind of, you know, experience this for the first time. And especially is when you've spent so many, you know, years working in one particular realm, and then now you're experiencing it through another lens, essentially. What have you kind of mostly learnt looking back on this? How has this differed for you? Obviously, you kind of alluded to some of the things as a director, but what was it about this film, maybe even the subject, production, even just a feeling of what felt different for you about this particular project?
Versus multicam sitcoms?
Yeah. Or versus just you as a filmmaker.
I can tell also just like watching my film compared to everyone else's films that there is a TV sensibility that is now in my DNA. And it's not accidental. I do love like my movie is a yarn, said my line producer, Marilyn. It's got like a Southern vibe. Like it's definitely like a tale. And there's, you know, when you are writing a 22-minute sitcom, you are, you know, everything has a start and a finish. So for me, like getting in a super late and ending super early was like, I had to keep slicing it away. But even still, what's left is very like, I got to get in there. Comparatively, you know, there is obviously the element of when I'm writing a sitcom script, I know exactly how to get it just like I like it. And then I kind of like, I hand it to somebody, right? There does come a time where I'm like, okay, I can put this in the Full House machine. It's going to come out. But this one's like, oh, I have to, you know, there's so much about filmmaking it's not just like, should we do this, but can I do this? Can I afford to do this? And when you're writing that, then you're like, oh, now I have to do that. And it's much less fun, but it also kind of forces you to be more creative.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a really good analogy of it as well. And I think it's quite helpful for anyone that's looking from kind of one realm to another. You know, this for me was, you know, really, I mean, it's one of those films that I'd actually want to watch. Well, I've watched a couple of times, but I have to learn new things and new nuances and everything else. And not maybe a question you've always had as a writer, but what did you want your audience to take from your film?
You know, I do think that this is so darky.
I love it.
But I think it's, you know, I was writing about my own experiences with love, which gets so romanticized in so much of what we do in film and TV. I mean, I came to the TV world because I thought I would go to like get my master's degree in English, but then I like got really obsessed with Cheers, and I got super obsessed with the like Diane and Sam relationship. I wanted to make something like that, and I feel like that really stuck with me. So this movie is really sort of like a response to that, like, why am I attracted to impossible relationships? Why, and I feel like we all are, right? There's a little 50 Shades of Grey in every thrilling relationship. And it's great to be in love with somebody, but you might also be in love with the shitty part.
Totally,
and not know it.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to resolve something else. So I think it was sort of like an answer to a lot of those questions. You know, when we talk about queer film, I feel like a lot of the happy stories are like high schoolers in love, lightly kissing, and that's great. That wasn't my experience. Like being a gay high schooler.
Yeah, I wish it was, right?
Yeah. But it's also like, that's not really an adult gay story.
No.
I don't think that like 30-year-old men are seeing themselves, I hope, in these high schoolers.
No, and also it's a whole different time period of a high schooler now to a high schooler, you know, when we were there. And, you know, speaking of that as well, obviously, you know, New Filmmakers is a monthly film festival. We have queer film all the way year through, but this is specifically an in focus for queer film, like 3 programs. How does that, is that something, how does that feel being part of a festival that is all queer filmmakers?
There's so many different kinds of queer stories. And I think particularly at New Filmmakers LA, and this is our last step on the tour of my festival tour, like there are definitely programmers that are creating a LGBTQ plus block that end up sort of like surprisingly homogenous. And so this festival, it's so much more like the one with the spies and the corsets. Like I didn't see anything like that. You know, it feels more like a chorus of voices than some other festivals I've been to. And I've been to some queer festivals too, like, you know, and I like them all. They're just all doing very different things.
Yeah. I think it's great because I think it's this, you know, the realm of this, you know, the same way any stories are unlimited, but, you know, I think there's been for many years, you know, queer story has been boxed, right?
Yeah.
You know, but there are so many queer stories and will be so many types of queer stories. So I think that's why it's nice to see that, you know, everyone's doing slightly differently. But anyways, to finalize, what's next for you? Where are you taking us next now you're on the end of the festival run?
I got a job based on the movie. I'm VP of development at Pangea Studios.
Excellent.
And we're doing our first film, Driver Ed, with John Travolta and Chet Hanks and Crystal Reed from Teen Wolf, for my own filmmaking. I definitely have a feature. All I can say is it's about my dad. Hopefully he won't see this interview, so he won't know that I'm writing about him at the moment. Okay, and then I'm doing a short. I just want to do one more short before I launch into it. Features are a lot to hear.
It's a lot, but you'll be ready. I mean, you're so experienced in your career thus far. I think you'll find it easier than most. Don't worry.
Thank you.
But listen, it's really special. It's been a really great conversation to hear your thoughts and your journey and experiences. And I can't wait for your next project. So just please hurry up and make them, and please bring them back to us. But no, thank you so much for being here, Nick, and we're very proud of you. And thank you for King Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.